So can you see the process from beginning to the end? Let's go through it. Number one, preparation. Remember, preparation is all about readiness. What is export readiness? All right. In this video, my focus is going to be on how to export from Nigeria. How to export from Nigeria. And I'll be showing you the step-by-step process involved in exporting from Nigeria. I hope the video will not be too long. I don't want to be more than 20 minutes. But I'm going to show you a chart that basically shows you the step-by-step process of how to export from Nigeria. The first step in the export process is preparation. Preparation, you can call this the point of export readiness. Preparation. Okay, maybe I should just go through the process and then I will explain one by one. Let's just do preparation. Now, after I've done my preparation in this case will be that I'm ready, I'm export ready. And then I'm able to sign an export contract. So I'm able to sign an export contract, sign export contract. By the time I finish signing export contract, the next thing is to raise funding, right? Raise funding. Then, now after I raise funding, the essence of raising funding is production. Production or procurement, depending on the nature. So, let me just explain as I'm going on because that will help because of time. Preparation. Preparation has to do with the issue of export readiness. What is export readiness? If you have watched the previous video, you understand what I'm by export readiness. Export readiness is actually a multifaceted concept that involves the ability of a business to successfully enter the export market, sustainably compete in the market, and significantly grow its market share until it becomes established in the market. Now, this will require a lot of capacity building, a lot of training, a lot of capacity building, a lot of training. Because of the capacity building, you are able to learn exactly what you need to do. You're able to know what to export. You're able to know how to export. You're able to know when to export. You're able to know why you need to export. You're able to know how to find buyers. You're able to know how to do your pricing. You're able to know the documentation involved. You're able to know the risk. You're able to know how to manage your risk. Basically, all this information are gathered in export preparation. And by the way, if you want to go through this preparation phase and you're looking at an organization that can help you, we have a program called From Export Novice to Export Legend. From Export Novice to Export Legend. That helps you in preparation. Now, when you are particularly prepared, then you sign a contract. I'm going to be spending a whole session talking about export contract. But I won't be talking about that here. The idea basically here is that I'm signing an agreement between buyer and seller. The contract contains vital information about what we want to export, the price we are exporting, the place we are exporting to, the detail of the buyer and seller, the documentation involved, and so many other information are contained on the contract. So I get a contract. Just assume that with preparation, I already know exactly what I need to do to find buyers. And I've discussed and negotiated with the buyer, and with that, I'm able to get a contract signed, an agreement signed between buyer and seller. Please note, pro forma invoice is not an agreement, because some people use pro forma invoice. Pro forma issue, and like this, I'm talking about contract. Contract, I mean an agreement that the buyer and seller sign. An agreement buyer and seller sign. So preparation, signing of export contract, an agreement between buyer and seller. What that should contain, we'll talk about in another video. Then raising funding. Raising funding, we have a coaching program on export financing. Raising funding, raising funding, raising funding, raising funding. From family, from friends, from banks, from foes, from anywhere you can get your funding from. Raising funding. Now, why do you need to raise funding? Because of the next phase. Now, with contract, you can actually raise funding. Because go to someone that, oh, I want to export and I need funding to be able to export. I might be able to get funding if they know I have a commitment of a buyer, verifiable buyer abroad. In fact, if I'm going to a bank to fund me, It's easier for the bank to fund me if I can confirm to the bank that I have a verifiable buyer abroad and we have signed an agreement. I have a verifiable buyer abroad and we have signed an agreement. Export contract. Funding now. After I've raised fund, why am I raising fund? For procurement and production and packaging. Procurement, production, and packaging. Procurement, production, and packaging. So what happened here? Procurement, production, packaging. So procurement, if you are like me, I'm an exporter and I export to the UK more often than not. I've exported to China before, I exported to China before, I exported to UAE before, I've exported to Canada before, I exported to the US, and but I more frequently export to the UK. Now, and I'm a merchant, I'm a trader, like someone would say. I'm a trader. I basically trade. So I buy from a supplier, a manufacturer, and I export. So I deal with a number of SME manufacturers and some big time manufacturers in Africa, in Nigeria, that I buy from for export. But you could be a producer yourself. That means you produce yourself. If you are producing yourself, that means you're a manufacturer. And as a manufacturer, you can export. So, number one, I can export as a manufacturer. I can export as a merchant. Now, if I'm a merchant, I'm a direct exporter. If I'm a manufacturer and someone is exporting my product, I'm an indirect exporter. If I'm a manufacturer, someone is exporting my product, I'm an indirect exporter. But if I'm a manufacturer and someone else, and I'm the one exporting my product, I'm a direct exporter. As long as I'm the one doing the export declaration for shipment. Remember in the last video we did on documentation, you see some of those documents I mentioned, we are going to be looking at them shortly. So procurement. Now the good is ready for shipment. What do I do then? I do export declaration. So I process my NXP. You can call it export declaration. Export declaration with NXP. If you are familiar, you know that this NXP goes with pro forma invoice PFI. It also goes with export license EC or export certificate. So you have the NXP, you have the pro forma invoice, you have the export license. I do that declaration. Now when I'm doing that, in Nigeria, you need a bank. When I finish filling that form, I will submit it to a bank. I will submit it to a bank. So when I submit it to a bank, it goes to the bank. So the bank review and approve. When the bank approves, it goes to an inspection agent. It goes to an inspection agent. The pre-shipment inspection agent review and approve. The pre-shipment inspection agent review and approve. After the approval, then I can go and do my inspection. Look at what is going on here. In Nigeria, every shipment must go through a bank. For example, every shipment must go through a bank. I forgot to mention that if you already were part of what we discussed earlier in the previous video when we talked about documentation, this NXP is done on tradesystem.gov.ng. That's where this NXP is processed. Tradesystem.gov.ng. So I complete the form and submit. The bank review and approve. Then I have the bank review and approve. Then I have is sent to the pre-shipment inspection. The pre-shipment inspection agent also review and approve. At this point now, my goods is expected to be in the warehouse. So here I have warehousing and there will be inspection. I will have engaged an agent who will get the customs, NDLA, SSS, buyer's rep, all of them will come and do inspection. So at this point, I'm going to have inspection. Inspection here will be done by custom, Nigerian Customs Service. Inspection here will be done by pre-shipment inspection agent, PIA. The PIA. PIA. Pre-shipment inspection agent, review and approve. There will be inspection here, physical inspection. The buyer's rep, that's buyer's representative. Buyer's rep in this case actually could be SGS, could be regulators, could be a staff of the buyer, depending on the arrangement. It could be a staff of the buyer, depending on the arrangement. So now, after this inspection is done, the PIA will send a notification for next payment. So there is next notification and payment. Remember, if you follow the last session, you have the import Nigeria Export Supervision Scheme fee called NES fee. Nigeria Export Supervision Scheme fee called NES fee. That NES fee will be paid because notification will be sent to the exporter and the bank will pay. Now, when the bank has paid, the bank transmits the NES receipt to the PIA. So you have bank transmit NES to PIA. Then all these are done on trade system of God of NG. PIA issue CCI. You remember. Now, if you have not watched the video I did earlier on documentation required for export, please go and watch it before you watch this one, because that video on documentation requirement for export, we also try to put it somewhere in the description or on the screen so you'll be able to see it. It gives you explanation on each of these documents. So what we are doing here is to show you how the document is being used. PIA CCI and transmit to custom and transmit to Nigerian Customs Service. Then Nigerian Customs Service issue FGD and transmit to shipping line or the carrier. Then shipping line issue bill of lading or airway bill. Shipping line here could be airline or airway bill, and shipping line issue bill of airway bill, and shipping line load the good on the ship. Shipping line load the goods on the ship and issue shipping line load the goods and issue bill of lading. Now, the exporter prepare prepare post-export document. Exporter prepare post-export docs, which will be the bill of lading, invoice, packing list, certificate of origin, and all other shipping documents. Depending on the payment method, based on the payment method. For example, if I'm doing open account, I will send document abroad directly to the buyer if I'm doing open account. If I'm doing advance payment, I'll send document abroad directly to the buyer. But if I'm doing letter of credit and bill for collection, I will send document to my bank. So exporter send document to exporter's bank. The exporter send document, that's the post-export document, to exporter's bank in his country. Then the exporter's bank send document to importer's bank. Exporter bank send document to Importers Bank. Now, Importers Bank review document and pay. Importers Bank review docs and pay. Then the account and pay Exporters Bank. And then Exporter Bank credit account of exporter. So can you see the process from beginning to the end? Let's go through it. Number one, preparation. Remember, preparation is all about readiness. What is export readiness? It's a multifaceted concept that involves the ability of a company to successfully enter the export market. It's a multifaceted concept and involves about 15 areas. It involves ability to enter the export market. Number one. Number two, successfully compete in the market. Number three, and sustainably grow its share to become established in the market. It involves a lot of capacity building and learning preparation. And I told you that we have Export Novice to Export Legend program, and I'll get my colleague to give the flyer. My colleague will put the flyer on the screen so you can see it when you're watching this video. Export Novice to Export Legend. You see the flyer. It is a capacity building and mentoring program that walks you through this process to become a successful export business exporter. Then sign agreement. If you are able to prepare adequately, you know exactly what to do to be able to get buyer and sign agreement. In another video, we're talking about how to find buyer abroad. Now, raise funding. You need funding either from self, from family, from foes, from banks, from wherever. Production and procurement of the goods, and then packaging of the goods for export. Good is ready at the warehouse. I do my export declaration, go online, tradestem.gov.ng, fill the NSP form, attach the pro forma invoice, attach the all other documents, fill it in, and submit on tradestem.gov.ng. When I submit, I will choose a bank when I'm submitting. I'll submit to my bank, any of the bank of your choice in Nigeria. The bank review and approve. Upon approval by the bank, PIA, the bank submit to PIA. The PIA that receive is based on the port of this side. PIA review and submit and approve rather. When the PIA approve, you will get notification, and then warehousing, the good is now at the warehouse. You will have engaged an agent who will come and do inspection, who will bring custom, NDLA, SSS, PIA, and all the other agencies of government who are relevant agencies. Not all of them will be required to do inspection. After that inspection, PIA will issue a notification of next payment to the exporter. Exporter notifies his bank and payment is made. Bank transmits the next receipt. Next is 0.5% of the FOB value. You transmit it to bank transmit to PIA, so that PIA issue a CCI and transmit the CCI to Customs, Nigerian Customs Service. Nigerian Customs Service issue SGD and transmit it to shipping line. Shipping line load the good on the vessel. If it's airline, load the good on the plane and issue airway bill or BL. And then extra prepare the shipping document for buyer, which will include bill of lading, invoice, packing list. You collect the bill of lading, add invoice, packing, and another document required with certificate of origin. You will present, depending on the payment method, you will present that document to his bank. His bank send document to the exporter's bank abroad. Exporter bank send exporter bank is collect money from exporter and effect payment. Importer bank receive the exporter send document to his bank. Exporter bank send document to the importer bank. Importer bank review document and pay. And the exporter bank receive the payment and credit the account of the exporter. This is the summary of how to go about the export business in Nigeria. I'm looking at it from Nigerian perspective. From Nigerian perspective, it can vary from one country to the other. But I'm sure for most countries, this is general. This is applicable in every country, applicable in every country, applicable in every country. Now, this is applicable in every country, applicable in every country, applicable in every country, applicable in every country, applicable in every country. So you see the four boxes and the 5 boxes below, they are applicable in every country. You see the middle box? They are Nigeria centric. Nigeria centric. You see this one? They are Nigeria centric. That means they are only applicable in Nigeria. So different countries have different things that happen within this page. But you see what happened at the beginning and what happened at the end is applicable in almost every country in the world. I believe you've learned 1 or 2 things about how to go about export business. Keep exporting and keep generating forex. Thank you very much and see you in the next video. Bye for now.